As someone who makes games, I don't play games very often, but one of my favourite games of all time is undoubtedly Spelunky. I have great memories of playing this roguelike classic with my brother and our friends, just getting abused ruthlessly by the procedural death trap that is this game. In the spirit of wanting to make games that I could play with my brother being what got me into game development in the first place, I've decided that I finally have the skill set to create the fun, roguelike game that I've always wanted to make. So let's get started. So the two main references that I have for starting this project are Spelunky, as previously mentioned, and DOWNWELL, a fun downward shooter about a guy trying to get his cat back from the bottom of a well. Fun fact, DOWNWELL was also deeply inspired by Spelunky and had the idea of Spelunky for mobile when the creator dreamed it up, so I'd say we're on the right tracks for inspiration. First thing that I needed to do was create a simple character controller. For this, I used Sebastian Laig's Unity 5 platformer controller, whilst making some tweaks and adaptations to suit my needs and also make use of Unity's new input system. I must say, if you're looking to learn anything Unity or computer related in general, you should definitely be checking out Sebastian's channel. I needed to create a simple environment to run about in and to test the feel of my player. I really wanted to make sure that the controls felt right within the game and that they were really tight, as platforming was going to be one of the core gameplay mechanics within this game, including the combat, but more on that later. I created a cute little square man out of default sprites in Unity, made some animations, did some tinkering, and now I had a cool, good feeling player controller that was fun to play with on his own, which is exactly what I needed to aim for. I have no doubt that I'll probably need to be tweaking this as development progresses, but for now, this is a great start. Okay, so next I needed some enemies. With the way that I built my character controller, I could reuse the base physics and collision across the board. I knew I wanted to use scriptable objects for enemy statistics, as well as for some player statistics, so I needed to make sure that the script was reusable and generic. This way, I could use it as a base class and then just create code that would handle generating inputs for the move method in my character controller. I have a lot of enemy types in mind, but I started out with a basic wanderer, which simply patrols the platform it's on and changes directions when it hits a ledge or a wall. Now it's time for combat. The two main ways I wanted to do combat is stomping and barging. Like I said, platforming would be the core for the gameplay in this game. My thought is that this can create some interesting opportunities for chaining combat moves and fun movement paradigms, so I just did some things to make it so that jumping on enemies would deal damage, as well as implementing a barge state, which would make the player invincible and also deal damage to enemies in front of the player while in this state. The final step for this is destroying the enemies when they die and then rewarding the player with some currency to make the combat worthwhile. I finished things off with a little bit of polishing, added some sound and particles for when enemies die and when the player's moving, and I spiffed up the play zone a little bit to be more interesting to play about in. And there we go, that was my first week's progress on this game. I have a full-time job and university alongside this project, so I only get about an hour or two a day to work on it during the week, and then weekends I can spend a little bit more time putting time into the project and working on these videos. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick little intro to our currently nameless roguelike project. If you did, be sure to leave a like, if not, a dislike, and tell us why in the comments. Make sure you subscribe for weekly content on our projects, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next devlog next week. Cheers!